Good morning, Academy 55. David Kahn here on Friday, the 31st of January, 2025. It's 5 to 8 in the morning here in the UK. We're looking at the EUR USD on the 5 minute time frame at the moment, but the idea is we're going to be using the Academy 55 indicators on the 1 minute and the strategy on the 1 minute to see if there is any trades around during this time, doing a little bit of training as well. Any trades that I take are for educational purposes only, just as a reminder. So what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to have a look at the bigger picture. We are currently on the 5 minute time frame. So let's go all the way up to the daily time frame on TradingView and see, have a look at the daily candles and see if we can get any idea of what is going on using the daily time candles. Now, as we can see, there's a little bit of imbalance down there, but that's so far away. I'm not even going to mark that up because that's over 100, well, nearly 100 pips away. So it's not relevant for us at this time, but got to make a note it's there. Price is sort of going into consolidation, even on the bigger time frames. So we go down to the 4 hourly, and there is a more dramatic of that consolidation. I only use trend lines on the higher time frames because they are so subjective. But so basically, that's telling me. Hang on, let's do this. Now notice how price is squeezing into this wedge shape. And once price squeezes into this wedge shape, gets small, rebounds off that trend line, rebounds off that trend line, and price gets smaller and smaller and smaller, which could happen. Like I say, usually after 3 touches, 1, 2, we've not yet got the third one. I suggest that price will probably be going up to here, rebounding off this trend line here before coming back down again. And maybe going to here, squeezing smaller and smaller, and then it's got the option to take off, but that is not until next week sometime perhaps, because we are on the 4 hourly time frame. So we go down to the line chart and see if we can make ourselves any significant lines, 2 touches or more. Now, that's relevant to us just near where we are with the price. So, for example, just there is a significant line because 1 touch there, we've had price stay there for 4 hours on that bit there. We've got another touch there. So that is a significant area where we are. And so we must, I would suggest even down a bit lower like that. So right where we are now is an area where price could bounce or break. Going down to the hourly, let's see if we can get more relevance from that. That's the 4 hourly one. But even up here, yeah, up there is significant enough to call that. There's a lot of lines in this on this sort of area, so that suggests that it's difficult trading conditions because of all these. Think of them as hurdles where price bounces or breaks. So we put it on the only drawing up those two, I think. Let's just go back and make sure. Yeah, down there as well is a significant area. So it'd be prudent of me to do that one. Yeah, there. One touch, two touches, more or less three touches there. So that's why that line is there. And that is, we don't want to do any more than that because that is close to our trading area. Everything else is, we don't need to know. And it just muddies the water a bit. So we'll go back on, we're on the hourly time frame. We go back on, so we got a bigger picture of what price is capable of doing. Maybe hitting that trend line, coming down to that trend line there and going smaller and smaller with patterns. We're looking for 3 or more touches on this trend line. And we haven't got that yet. So there's a wee bit of imbalance here on the hourly, but I won't draw that up because that's too near the action. And we've got this bit of imbalance here on this hourly candle, but that's too far away from the action. So that's not relevant to us at this time. So rather than just try and keep the chart clear, I'm going to stay away from that at the minute. So going down to the 5-minute, here we can see our zones. So these are relevant to us, so we'll mark these up. So we put a horizontal ray at the bottom of the sell zone, way up there. And we put another horizontal ray at the bottom of the buy zone, which is there. Now we can come down to the 1-minute time frame. And we got all these support and resistance lines where we know we're capable of bounce or breaking. These are not 100% accurate because we're on the minute. So basically that line could have been that there, or still might have a bit of room, but it's so minuscule that we don't need to worry too much about it. Just realize it's a point of interest. So we'll put our charts back on. So if we were to go on that buy, I'd want price to get above there. And if we were on a buy trajectory, if price got up to there, because that's support and resistance line, that's a point of interest. Basically, pay close attention to. But really, you want confirmations of price on the 5-minute, or well, we've already marked them up on the minute going into the buy zone down here, or the sell zone up there to give you that extra confirmation of a trade. It's now 4 minutes past 8. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to have a look at the MT4 and make sure you've got your risk to reward in purple, your lot calc in purple, your all important 1% that we're willing to risk. And I like to turn these on and off, the purple square there, so you can close all trades at a very short notice. Also, now we are, again, just like your trading view, make it as big as your MT4 as big as possible. And I want to get 2.2 pips away minimum. So you write 22 in there. And now, as you can see, I'm 2.2 pips away minimum. It might be bigger than that if I was to take this buy, but my stop loss wouldn't be till there anyway. So my at the moment we're seeing, even though we got a buy alert there, at the moment we might be acting off and having this deeper sell. But a sell alert must take place. And again, go back to TradingView. This is what it would look like on TradingView. Short position. You'd want your there'll be something akin to this. Something like that. But that we're right in between the zones. So let's go to the reverse conditions. See, my stop loss has to be up there because that's where the wave turned red. So I'm going to lock that in there. That's where the stop loss is. Now we're waiting for a sell alert. We are now at a key zone area. Notice how the price is 0, 0. That's a psychological area where lots of things happen. Well, it did down here as well. So we could bounce or break off this. And we're already at 5.9 and we haven't got a sell alert yet. Is price going to hit this purple line and bounce and break? These are all considerations, that things that could happen. But we can activate yet. We got a red trend line, a red wave. Everything's good to go, but we haven't got the sell alert. And I suggest we probably won't get the sell alert until we're below that price there, perhaps. But we'll have greater confirmation of a sell indeed taking place. We are stalling. We are around the key zone area at the minute, where traders and bankers alike like to take trades in, put trades out, on the longer term especially. So that's why we hover around that area, because there's a lot of sell orders, could be sell or buy orders. We don't know which is which. That's why you get the bounce and break. So we're around the key zone area here, and there was a lot more buy orders. Obviously, that's why we had a little bit of a buy. Now we're at that area again. Are there a lot more orders to take? And are they buy orders again, or maybe this time sell orders? In which case it'll drag it down at least to this area here. Now we've got the sell alert. Thing is, do we have enough momentum to want to carry on down? Really, I mean, we're at 7.5 pips between stop loss and entry now. We've got this area here. This is a significant area because it's stalled along this area. We've got the purple line. Everything price above the purple line is a buy bias. And we haven't got that confirmation of price going into the zones. So although this looks fairly tempting as a trade, I'm just pointing these things that could go wrong. You haven't got the confirmation of price going into the sell zone or the buy zone. We only need, in turn, due to the strategy, we only need 1 or 2 trades a day because of our low percentage that we have to have monthly. So therefore, I don't need to trade. Now, this very well may work as a sell, but we've got that obstacle. Let's go back to the trading view. So 7.7 down there already, which brings your 2 to 1 deep into this buy zone area. We've got this line here that we drew up earlier on. Will price get to there, bounce and break? Will it get to there, bounce or break? Or will there be enough momentum to carry on through to the buy zone that we know is down here? And yet we haven't got the confirmation of price going into a buy or sell zone to give us an extra oomph and confidence and confluence that we need in order to take the trade. Us in turn, we don't need to take a trade because we only need one or two trades a day. So I'm quite happy to play this one out. If some of you might get frustrated with that, I mean, this area here, right, I'll keep coming back to that. This area here with 3 noughts at the end is a key zone area where investors like to take trades in, take trades out, start trades, finish trades. So there's an awful lot of buying and selling. Like just underneath there was a lot of buying. They came down and took all that out. So there's a lot of buying along here, buy orders, stop losses in order. So there was a lot of buy buy stop losses down here. So they activated off that, but eventually the banks said, you know what, we need to help the dollar um, because the dollar is getting stronger. We need to appreciate that, and at the same time, we can take all these buy orders out again. So everybody who had buy orders down there got wiped out by this, and now they're at it again, fooling us out. And now we're at this support and resistance line where it bounces or breaks. And this is what we're facing as traders. So for us to want to continue on, it's important for us to get the maximum confirmations that we can get for our trades. Yes, we're only risking 1%, but the idea is to keep hold of your money. There we go. That was where we were. So I'm quite happy to paper trade this. And that's what it would look like. That's where I would be in and out if I was going to be doing it, but I'm not doing that because I want confirmation of price getting into. I'd be a lot happier if price gets down underneath this buy zone and then a buy happens. But I thoroughly understand that this sell may actually work, but there's a lot of this area here is just it's like Becher's Brook, Aintree for a horse, you know? Some horses can get by it, some horses will run alongside of it, and some horses will run the other way. That is a big hurdle to cross. And now at the moment, it's bouncing. And I need as many confirmations for my trading as possible before I enter into a buy or sell. So I'm prepared to wait for those confirmations. Nice to see so many people on today. Hope you're having a good day. It's nice and bright and blue skies down here in Newquay, in Cornwall. Well, I'm not in Newquay. I'm actually 12 miles away from Newquay. But a lot of you probably know where Newquay is. I'm roughly around that area in the middle of Cornwall. I was actually born in Newquay, but there we go. Sorry, I'm not here to hear my life story. Right, so all of a sudden if you felt impulsive to take that sell, because we had to wait for confirmations for that trade there, and by doing so, we had basically 7.5 pip between stop loss and entry. That means our 2% take profit is a long way down, really, to go. Uh, Usually, I like to take trades between 2 to 6, on the minute. And now, as you can see by the waves getting smaller, the sell momentum is running out. And we're getting more of a sideways sort of motion. So I think we've just got time to play this. What I'll do is I'll play this a bit.
Hi, this is Steve with a very short video to show you where to get the training for the indicators and tools we use inside Academy 55. So once you're logged into the members area, you'll see in the premium dashboard this section that's entitled Start Learning. And if you click here, that'll take you through to the learning library. Now, we'll say at this point, we highly recommend you watch each of these videos 2 or 3 times to get a full understanding of how everything works. Here you'll find tutorials on using the MT4 Trade Assistant and how to use the MT4 platform with the Trade Assistant. This is the longest video you'll find inside the platform. It's around 30 minutes long, well worth your time. Watch the video once, then maybe write a few questions down that you might have for yourself and watch the video for a second time, and things will really start to make sense. By the time you watch it 3 times, you'll fully understand how everything works. So that's the longest video. It's about 30 minutes long, well worth your time. And then you can jump into individual trainings here for how to remove indicators. These videos are just a couple of minutes long. How to move MetaTrader around like you can in TradingView, Trading Assistant controls, how to do back testing in TradingView, how to draw vertical lines to mark out your hour, and so much more. And by the time you watch this video or see this video, there might be other trainings in this section. But everything here is well worth your time, and you find that, as I said a moment ago, from the main dashboard in the Start Learning section. Now, one more thing just to mention here. If you're looking for anything in particular, if you come down to the support name of FAQs, click on Get Support, and in this area you'll find a detailed FAQ section, and you can come through here. For example, if you're looking for an answer to a question about MetaTrader, have a look through these, and once you click through you'll find direct links to videos that give you answers to most of the questions that we get asked on a regular basis. So hopefully you found this useful, and back to your further training.
Yeah, thanks very much, Steve. Right, so we are at the support and resistance line again, where it keeps bouncing and breaking. So if we was in this trade now, we still got a good chance of it actually breaking that and going for a bigger buy. So we still don't, our trade, if we was in this trade, we still wouldn't be, we know the buy zone's down there. They can see the buy orders. Are they going to get down to there? It's all all going up to this key zone area again, like it did just there, and then react off it. There's just the whole thing at the minute. If I put it back on the 5-minute time frame, we can see it clearer that the whole thing. See, ever since last night, we've been ranging more or less, waiting for things to happen. This is the what we call the Asian session between 10 and 6 of an evening before they decide to do stuff. Maybe not, but it's all still rangy. I mean, we've been even here between 3 o'clock and we're in a ranging market. Doesn't quite know what it wants to do, EUR/USD. So even with the best will in the world, why do we think we can make it decide for it and make it do what we think it wants to do? If you understand. So it's very difficult times for trading at the minute. Don't make no apologies for that. It is what it is. If you feel aggrieved by that and think, hang on, I'm paying for these indicators, nothing's happening. Well, it's it's the way it is. It's like the equivalent of coming down to Newquay on holiday. You come for the nice sun, and unfortunately a storm's come in, and for the rest of your time on holiday, you haven't been able to get on the beach because it's been raining and windy every day. And that and we see people like that quite a lot down here. It's just the way it is. It's unfortunate. You just got to get on with it and make the best of it. And to make the best of it, you get what you do is you get a little bit of an education of what things are happening and what could happen. And the fact we got these like hurdles, support and resistance hurdles, a lot of them all compact together tells you the way the market is and the hurdles price has to get through for anything to happen. So therefore, as traders, we want as much confirmation for our trades as possible. I mean, even now prices has broken down, but as you can see, it's done that many, many times before and then gone back up again. So nothing's clear cut that it's going to go all the way down to our take profit just because we want it to. And indeed, when we get to here, we know we're in a buy zone sort of area. And it's all very, very risky. Too risky, really. Don't get me wrong, all trading is risky, but you can quantify your risk and get the best outcome for yourself, best probabilities for yourself by waiting for other confirmations. Like for me now, I'll be waiting for price to come down into this buy area and getting an added confirmation of going for a buy. Might not happen. And if it doesn't happen within this hour, I walk away and I come back and I maybe look at the US 100 later on this afternoon. Well, I won't, unfortunately, because I have got to be away for the day. So this is my time on the board. So it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And also a little twist for me personally is it's a bit frustrating because I'm only 2% away from my monthly target. Now, the monthly target could be called the 3 weekly target because it's actually, yeah, it should be called the 3 weekly target because the first week we didn't have any trades. But as you can see, I'm only effectively about 3% away from my, but that this hang on, sorry. This 6.9% represents on $100,000 prop firm account, which is one of the goals you might be wanting to get to, is works out at $6,900. They take 80% of that, which then cuts it down to, sorry, they take 20% of that, which then cuts it down to, well, let's say they take 10% of that, which then takes it down to, do the maths, $6,400, which then in turn, when you turn that into English, that's roughly about between 5 and 5.5 grand for a month. For 3 weeks work actually, because it's not even the month. So if I don't take another trade today and I end up with that, I'm happy. But my ultimate goal obviously is to get to 10%. But we're a week shorter this month, so I shouldn't be too disheartened by that because I've got a week's less worth of trading. Do you understand? So I'm fine with that. But at the moment, as you can see, there's no sort of, and another reason for trading this time of day is because at certain times most times of the year, between 7 and 9 in the morning, we have a more of a trending market where price wants to go one way or the other, stick to it. But as we've seen so far, most of January, we've had a ranging market where price goes sideways a lot more often. So therefore, it's even more important that we get the extra confirmation of price going into the zones that we have on the 5 minute, like we're on the 5 minute time frame now. So that's where we are. So me personally, I didn't take this trade because of all the barriers I'm seeing, all the ranging I'm seeing, wanting extra confirmation. And the fact, and also to get the small confirmation that I needed on if I was to take this trade, I'm 7.5 pips away. So to get my 2%, I'm down there. So if I was taking that trade, which I wouldn't, but another scenario, I'd be, you know what, I would be happy to get out there and just accept the 1% because of the large take profit area. And you don't go broke by taking a profit. But I'm not even in the trade because I want all the extra confirmations because of the trading conditions that we are finding. And the more confirmations you can get, the better off you're going to be in any trading scenario. So we are where we are. And we've indeed stalled around this area now. Well, we haven't stalled at all because this is just paper trading. I'm not in a trade. Like I said, keep on saying any trades that are taken are purely for educational purposes only. With all that being said, I'm going to keep an eye on this while you look at this.
Hi, this is Steve, and in this short video I'm going to just show you the settings for the Trade Assistant to make sure that you've got the minimum 2-pip stop loss on the Euro USD or any currency pair, and how you set it for if you're trading a commodity like the US 100, because the settings are slightly different. So here you can see we're on the Euro USD chart here. I've got my risk to reward on the Trade Assistant locked at 2 to 1. I've got my risk balance at 1%. Lot calculator is on, and my little purple button here between the buy and sell is also activated. So we're ready to bring the Trade Assistant onto the chart. Now you'll notice here that we've got the stop loss set at 20. That indicates 2 pips when you're on a currency pair. And we can actually change that here by typing over it. So if I type in there 40 and just tab off here, you can see now we've got a stop loss of 4 pips because we're on a currency pair. In this example, it's Euro USD, but it could be Euro GBP or any currency pair. So let's just put that back to 20 for our 2 pips. We'll click off here, and now we'll just put the lines on so that you can see that is showing us 2 pips over here on the actual tool, ready to actually get involved with a trade if that's what we were going to do. But that's not what we're here for now. I'm going to click off the lines here, and what we're going to do is we're going to change our chart from Euro USD to US 100, and I can do that by dragging it onto the screen here. You'll see it now switch over to US 100, and now you can see that stop loss says 20, and that's wrong for a commodity. So what we want to do here is come in here and type 2000. This is the equivalent of 2 pips on a commodity such as US 100. So now when I put the lines on, you'll see we've got the number 2000 here, and if I just zoom around, you'll notice the 2 to 1 still applies, 2000 and 4000 here, where we've got a $1,000 trade in place, risking $1,000 to win $2,000. So that's the number that you need to get your 2 pip minimum on. So the minimum number would be 2000. You could have anything above that if you're on a commodity like US 100, and the number will be 20, which is 2 pips equivalent if you're on a currency pair such as Euro USD. Hopefully you found this useful, and thanks very much for watching.
Yes, thank you, Steve. Right, so I did all that because it may be that some of you guys might want to come back to the US 100. And incidentally, in that video, when Steve was on the US 100, you saw it looked a hell of a lot big gap between the stop loss and entry. It's not a sort of big gap. It's just that the volume at that time when Steve was making the recording, the volume of the US 100 was so low that it looked a big gap. But that's why we do the US 100 after 2:30 in the afternoon, because those volumes usually double, even triple sometimes. Each candle gets 2 or 3 times bigger than what you saw in his video because of the time of the day he was probably doing the video. That's why we tend to do the US 100 anytime after 2:30. And incidentally, we do the EUR USD and the US 100 because they are the ones that work the best through backtesting with our Academy 55 indicators. EUR USD is the least volatile of all the pairs to basically use this indicator. I mean, there are occasions when the EUR USD does get volatile, but it's the least volatile of all the pairs. And also similarly with the US 100, when price goes, it usually goes one way or the other. So that's why we use the 2 commodities that we use. But right now, as you can see, we are now coming into the buy zone area. I mean, with hindsight, this looks like could have been a pretty good trade. But now the scenario is, with our patience, what we're doing is we're waiting. We've now got if price gets down below this line, or even now, I would suggest we've got the more confirmation and more happy to take a buy because of where we are, rather than risking a sell passing these areas. Statistically, it's a lot happier taking a buy than it would do for a sell in that scenario. But the reality is they could be on a deeper sell, and this trade here might have actually worked. But I'm not bothered about that, whether it is or whether it does or doesn't, because that's hindsight. And when you're new, if you just operate on a sell like this at a whim and it works, you get a false sense of security, and you think, "Oh, well, that's okay." But in the longer term, you are going to come a cropper. This is all about stability, longevity. This trading strategy, about being here for uh, it's a marathon, not a sprint, for want of a better phrase. But yeah, that looks like it's we could go out for a 2% even with the 7.5 pip stop loss. Could be doing that. Let's have a look on the 5 minute. See, could be getting down to there, to that double bottom on that candle there. That's the lowest point it's been for a while, at 4 o'clock this morning UK time, and still our 2% is even beyond that. But it could very well go through that. And like I said, get to that trend line that we drew up. This is that trend line we drew up on the bigger picture. Could be wanting to go down there and bounce off that or even break it, like it did there. But now, as you can see, price is heading on up a bit. And it's been into the buy zone. So we are now officially looking for the next buy. Oh, I've locked that one. So like Steve's video, I want 2.2 pips away. So I'll turn that there like that. Widen that gap. And now price has been in the buy zone. So I've got the confirmation that I need to maybe get myself a buy if everything works out. I'll show you what that looks like on TradingView. Go back down to the minute. We get our long position tool. 2.2 pips away. That's the minimum, 2.2. And that's where I want the stop loss in anticipation of the red line turning green. That'll change, obviously. That'll change. This is where what it looks. Sorry, I'm trying to make this as big as possible. That's better. There we go. So that's the scenario for a buy alert. And the next one is a buy alert because the way the indicators work, we have a sell, buy, sell. So the next one must be a buy, and that's what we're waiting for because we've been into the buy zone. So I've got the confirmation that I want. Indeed, if that's what happens. If it doesn't happen within the next few minutes that we're together, you can either wait for that to happen or come back later on today if you can. And if you have to go to work or go to the shops or whatever, and you haven't got time to go on the charts, you haven't lost any money, have you? You've not lost any money, and you're respecting you're respecting your discipline, and you're checking out the probabilities for you to have the best trade by waiting for all these confirmations. Now that is the lowest point there that I pointed out earlier on. That was, is it? No, no, sorry, that one there. So I'll just put a little line in there just for it's the lowest point for a while. So it's not impossible to think the price may get down to that area down there or this area here. Or, but as you notice, even though there's a lot in it, but there's higher highs being formed all the time. And that's higher, that is higher than that area there. So will that be the lowest point and then we break up a bit more? Interesting, isn't it? There's not a lot in it, but they are higher highs. Higher highs. And even that one there is higher than that area down there. So they are forming, sorry, shouldn't say higher highs, higher lows. Higher lows. That's what I mean to say. Sorry about that. So is that going to be the lowest point before we have a turnaround? But because of the time of the day, they might have a bigger picture and think, oh, we want to go a little bit more deeper because we've got the London open now. And things are a lot more active here than they are down here. Everyone's asleep, basically. The banks aren't open during the Asian market. So things are going to sleep, as you can see visually, by not a lot happening. But this could very well be the lowest. There's a lot of buy orders here. And depending on how many they are, how many buy orders there are, will determine how high this actually gets. Sounds obvious when you say it like that. It does to me anyway. Okay, so this is the scenario, but because of the wave, it's quite thick yet, so there might be more momentum going down yet. It's not yet tailing off, but it could do within the next few minutes and go. And we could either go sideways along here until such time as that reminds me. Ah, right, that reminds me of something. At going back to the news. What day are we on here? Oh, that's next week. Right, Friday, the 31st of January at 9 o'clock and 5 to 9. We have, well, yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My goodness, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bits for high impact news. And I know it's only because for the euro, but 10 of those all put together will, you would think, will affect the market by a few pips. And that's in 15 minutes time. So again, unfortunately, we got that against us if we do have a buy scenario that we've been waiting for all this time. See, price doesn't care whether you care that you've been waiting. not a jot. You've got to, it's timeless, really, as far as that's concerned. They're going to do what they're going to do, what they have to do. And at 9 o'clock, we got 10 even instances of high impact news from the Germans, who are the major cog in the euro market. Now, there's only one or two or three even. It might not shift significantly, but we've got 10 instances of high impact news. So you've got to respect that and bear that in mind to your trading if one was to ever come into play. Well, I'm just looking at something a minute. My other monitor's frozen. I don't know why. Here we go. Because I'm on Zoom, things work a bit slower for me. Right, this is what I wanted to show you guys was the economic calendar on FTMO. And we're after restrictions, high impact news. Is there any at 9 o'clock because of this? Doesn't seem to be. So because they recognize it's German news, but there is no restrictions if you've got a prop firm account. And when there is restrictions, you're precluded from trading 2 minutes before and 2 minutes after those restrictions. So if you're in a trade, that means take your money out 2 minutes before or stuff like that. So you've got to know the rules with FTMO, but there is no restrictions on this. But that's not to say that it might upset the apple cart, as it were. Right, we've got a few minutes left. So I'm going to throw open the chat. If anybody's got any questions about what they've seen here today, please text them in and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Hope you guys got a little bit about something today. And now we're stalling along this area here. This is the area where they stalled before, pretty much. Although it's a little bit of a higher low. And now the sell is, see, they're all flattening out now, possibly waiting for this German news. 10 instances of news from different I think they call them cantons. They do in Switzerland, areas of Germany. I don't know what they call them in Germany. Maybe can well 10 areas of Germany basically are breaking out high impact news. So all combined together could make the markets flip one way or another. So if you was investing a considerable amount of money, and it takes 10,000 US 10 million US dollars to shift one pip. So if you was to do that, it would be prudent of you to wait till the news has settled down before you actually do anything. So that's possibly the reason why we're seeing this. And now we're in the buy zone. And we're coming up to this support and resistance line, and that we got that trend line where it might bounce or break. Although that one was drawn in roughly, if I remember. But that one is a little bit more accurate. So we might be looking at that. But we're in a buy zone. Yeah, right. And that trade would have been successful, but that's hindsight. And you possibly be biting your nails to the quick. No, you wouldn't, because we're all holograms. We're all AI. We're not. Trading has to be as emotionless as possible. Take emotion out of trading as much as you possibly can, because it serves no purpose. Like I always say, price is going to do what it's going to do, regardless of the fact that you feel you need to have this trade to pay the mortgage off or anything like that. If you're trading because you've got bills to pay and you're putting pressure on yourself that way, this ain't for you. This is a marathon, not a sprint. This is to give you, hopefully, a good grounding into having a monthly income for a long time, hopefully. But you have to check your emotions out. Not, you don't need to bother reading the charts as much as I do, because the indicator will do 95% of the work for you and give you a good idea when to buy and when to sell, because of the green, green, green for a buy, red, red, red for a sell. But the more you can learn about these lines, the more you realize what price can, may or may not do. And it gives you more of a feeling of power. Yeah, power, really. And you'll be less surprised if price does what it does, because you may have had an inkling it was going to do that in the first place. And indeed, that did hit that trend line, even though I drew it in quite roughly. Sort of supporting these lines here, and now decided to go up a bit. The German news, if it's bad news, might even drag it down even further. We don't know. But we know we're in a buy zone. So we're after the next buy. Oh, if you accidentally make a move on a line, just there we go, put that right back. And now we've got German news coming in now, right now, which on its own might not make the market move that much. But if Germany's got good news for the euro, price will go up, and the indicator will bear that out because we know we're in a buy zone. So let's just wait and see what happens. And if it's bad news, you'll see it go down quite a lot, which obviously will spoil our buy. But and being just one cog in the Europe market, it might not affect it. I don't know how it's going to affect it because it's Germany is only one. It's the biggest cog, but it's on, at the end of the day, it's just one cog. But there's 10 bits of high impact news, but that's all the areas of Germany together. So I don't know. We'll see anyway, won't we? But I've got my finger on the buy. Just in case. I won't be taking a sell. Well, I can't take a sell because we had a sell up there, and we'll be just be continuing on that sell. So if it sells again, so be it. But if we have a buy, as per the indicators, then we'll take the buy. But we have another 3 minutes to wait. Right, we have a parallel sort of flip right down there, which sort of suggests that a deeper buy may be taking place with the volume. We'll see. It's getting twitchy now. The markets are reacting off the news a little bit. That's why you're seeing at least a little bit of volatility. Before, if you notice, it was quite steady, but it's sort of jittery now. Even though it's only a small amount because we're on the minute time frame. But just in case it does shoot up and the indicators tell us to buy, that's indeed what we're going to do. But at the moment, the news is, although it's only a little bit, it's negative news for the euro. So that might be a precursor for the news to come at 9 o'clock. You never know. Seems only a little bit, I know, but see the way that the candle is moving, in that jerky sort of way, it's a little bit of volatility coming in. It's not a big deal, but you can see the volatility. And you don't usually see that in the Euro USD. That's why we picked the Euro USD in the first place, because of we don't often see that. Right, we're getting negative news off the Germans, the euro at the minute. Ah, there we go. Look at that. There we are. Yeah, negative news for German news. That's the result of those 10 high impact newses all together. and we can trade that because we're waiting for a buy. We're in the buy zone. So sort of mucked up our chances a bit. Why are you not locking the stop loss on this one? This one what? We haven't got a trade. This is not per the rules, Anna. Let's go back to we'll see. I think I know what you mean. I'm letting it float just so it doesn't mess up. That's all. If I locked it, it wouldn't make any difference. Yeah, you can lock in anticipation of a trade, but we're not in anticipation of a trade. I'm nowhere near to locking. Yeah, so if I did that, for example, lock it now, it would just mess it all up, and I just got to recalculate. So I just let it float at 2.2, and when the right time to lock is, I will lock. There we go. What's the other question from David's iPhone? Can you go over the trade assistant quickly how to set and place a trade? I'll say to you, David, that all the training for that is in the back office. Steve's done excellent jobs of doing all that better than I can right at the moment. So we told you where to look for these trainings, and go and see those videos once or maybe twice to get a better understanding. But if you're still confused, certainly we'll go over it again next week. But at the moment, I'm over 9 o'clock now. Unfortunately, it didn't. We're in the buy zone now, but the news took the euro even lower. So let's go on the 5 minute, see if there is any other zones. So look at that. There we go. That's all that news. In the end, that was quite significant, wasn't it? It was 86 and all right, that's nearly 20 pips, 20 pips there and still going. Poor old euro is taking a batter, isn't it? And that's all because the dollar is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So with that information, I can't tell you who that guy was because I don't want to give him any advertising, but he says a lot of what he confirms with me, and anyway, we won't go into it. In actual fact, yeah, I'm not going to be funny about it. I'll privately message me, and I will let you know. No, it's not NN or NV, or let's not get cryptic. Just message me private, and I'll let you know who it was. But yeah, he says he talks sense, and I agree with everything he says. That's why I play it. Anyway, thanks for that. So what we're going to do very quickly, very quickly. I was going to go on the take the indicators off. No, I haven't done that. Have I? What have I done now? There we go. And just look at what's happening on the bigger picture on the hourly. Right, as you can see, we have now broke this trend line. Price has gone smaller and smaller and smaller. Now we could have a, let's just, that's the lower low. It's gone below the lower low there. So we could be getting to these areas down here. These significant areas down here where the volume is, we'll mark that up. And price could be getting down to these areas here. Anyway, so we will see you all next week. My target this month, because like I say, I haven't got time to trade later on today. For me, unfortunately, I've got things to do. So I'm going to have to accept a 6.9% for the month, which is okay considering we had a week less. I'm still happy with that. And see you guys again next week. Thanks very much for being on. I do appreciate that, and I hope you got a little bit of insight what's going on today. The video will be up in the Facebook group because there's no trade, so the video will be up in the Facebook group later on today. Watch it back if you want to, and we'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend, everybody, and cheers for now. Bye.